Live from Wish TV's 24-hour News 8, this is Breaking News.
And we do start with that breaking news, which is on the interstate near downtown. Our Kevin Rotterman and Mobile News Tracker is on the scene right now.
Interesting picture. Let's go ahead and take it as we speak. This is a fire. We believe it's what's left of a semi at this point. Kevin just got there, truly, about a minute and a half ago. He tells us this is I-70 westbound near the split where they would head south on 69. Looks like right now fire crews are there, maybe even throwing something on it, trying to get the fire out. So Kevin will join us here in minutes. We'll jump in as soon as Kevin's able to talk to us to let us know what he's seeing, what it looks like in terms of traffic trouble because of it, and of course he'll let us know anything that he finds out about this. But breaking news, a fire to start your morning on this Thursday, April 27th.
So plenty still to learn there, and we do want to get you started with what to know outside your front door today as you head out. It's about the same temperature-wise.
Yeah, but in some spots it's probably still raining right now. Yeah. Stephanie Mead, first forecast, kind of a little bit of everything out there.
Yeah, we're getting some rain right now moving into the area. Nothing severe or strong moving in for this morning. So I guess that's the good news as you're heading out the door. But still locations looking at some rain showers off towards the Terre Haute area all the way down towards Bloomington. And that's where we're seeing the heaviest of rain right now. Those yellows are embedded some moderate to even heavier rain as you're heading out the door. So there could be some ponding water in some locations. So take it slow and easy for your morning commute. As we widen out the view here, we see this line of showers that'll push through, and then right behind that we're looking at some very light showers developing. So after this line moves through the area, it'll move out by around our 8-9 o'clock hour. It looks like we're smooth sailing as we head into this afternoon. So this morning you will need your umbrella. Temperatures starting off in the 60s. We hit our daytime highs during the morning hours. You notice during the afternoon we hit our high at around 58 degrees. So it's only going to get cooler as we head into the day. Right now it's 60 in Indianapolis, 64 in Shelbyville, 59 up towards Lafayette. And we're looking at wind conditions a bit breezy at times. They're going to be breezy throughout the day today. We're not done yet with the rain. We do continue to see rain throughout your morning commute. Strong to potentially severe storms to end off the work week. And we're in store for a very active weekend come Saturday and Sunday. And I'll give you timing of the storms coming up in your full forecast.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. Minute after 4 o'clock this morning, people across central Indiana will start cleaning up after the weather that we saw late last night, overnight, and into this morning. In Putnam County, for instance, crews worked to clear trees from US 231 just south of the Putnam County Hospital. Crews also worked to repair power lines in that area. In Boone County, strong wind knocked over 14 power poles in front of Granville Wells Elementary. That's in Jamestown. Power crews are working to restore power in that area as well. Sherry Hayden from Jamestown sent us a picture of the damage from the hail that hit her house. You can see some of the siding that's damaged there. She says it's about the size of quarters there. We'll be showing more of the pictures we got from our viewers throughout the morning here on Daybreak.
Okay, time to revisit that breaking news that we had at the very top of the hour just 2 minutes ago. A semi appears to be on fire on westbound I-70 near 65 South. Our Kevin Rotterman is now on the scene and able to talk with us and tell us what he knows. Kevin?
Yes, we have a very active scene in the north split. All traffic that's traveling on I-70 westbound to I-65 southbound directly in the north split is blocked because of this accident. As you can see, the entire truck is in flames. It looks like this was some sort of a wreck where that the semi was involved in before the fire broke out. Now, there are crews on scene. They are the initial responders, and I did see them put a little bit of water, but they're still waiting for other crews to arrive. I can hear them pulling up in the distance. They're actually pulling around all the blocked traffic as I'm speaking right now. You can see one of the fire trucks making its way through the parked semis trying to get closer to the scene. But as you can see, this is a very active scene right now with the entire truck. It looks like it's a semi with a van trailer completely engulfed in flames. I'm going to try to gather as much information along with gathering more video, and I'll be bringing that to you all morning right here on Daybreak.
Okay, Kevin, thank you. Still plenty to learn, especially if the driver of that semi is injured, if what happened before this. So we know you'll stay on the scene as this is clearly a dramatic scene and investigation and firefight right now. More now at 4:04 happening today. The man charged for shooting and killing IMPD officer Perry Wren will formally hear his sentence. Major Davis Jr. entered a plea agreement last week. If the judge accepts it, Davis will receive life in prison without the possibility of parole. Prosecutors were seeking the death penalty before the agreement. Davis admits to shooting and killing Officer Wren in July of 2014. Officer Wren and another officer were investigating a call of shots fired on the north side when they got in a shootout with Davis. An Indianapolis father on trial for the death of his 3-month-old daughter is cleared of the murder charge against him. A jury found Jeffrey Fairbanks not guilty of murder, but guilty of neglect of a dependent resulting in death. His daughter went missing in May 2015, sparking a massive months-long search. Baby Jana's body has never been found. Fairbanks told police he buried her in a cornfield. He later said he threw the baby's body in a dumpster. He is scheduled to be sentenced next month.
5 minutes after 4 o'clock, police are looking into a report of a third sexual assault on the IUPUI campus. This has been the third in less than a week. Police say the latest assault happened Tuesday near Carroll Stadium. Police say they're questioning someone they're describing as a person of interest, someone who matches the description of all 3 reports. They say that person is not under arrest. The school so far has declined to speak with us on camera. The students say they are taking extra steps to be safe while walking on campus.
If you're walking through campus at night, it can be scary knowing that that's happening more and more now.
I think you should carry mace wherever you go, just because you never know what could happen. And I don't really think that this campus is dangerous. You can't trust everybody you know, so.
A group of students and staff members at IUPUI have new training about what to do if someone would try to assault them.
Campus police led more than 24 students and staff through a class called Rape Aggression Defense. Those attending practice different techniques to get away from an attacker. The instructor finds the class rewarding for more than just the students.
It's also empowering for me. I like to see the way they come in, not realizing how powerful they are as compared to when they go out, feeling very empowered, feeling very confident in their abilities and the fact that they can protect themselves.
The police teach classes like this throughout the year. The next one is scheduled for October. It costs $25. We have more information on the classes on wishtv.com. At 4:06 in Colts Watch, the first round of the NFL Draft is tonight.
Colts have the 15th pick overall. This will be the first chance for the new general manager, Chris Ballard, to make a selection for the roster. There's been a lot of speculation about what will happen, which position the team needs to bolster most. Our sports department says at first pick, the Colts are leaning heavily toward defense.
You can see the moves we've made so far. I mean, look, we're going to be active. We're going to be active in the draft. We're going to be active claiming players. We're going to be active working guys out. We're going to be active signing future guys. We're always going to be looking to get better.
Other possible early picks include a top running back, also help with what has always been, it seems, a struggling offensive line in recent years. First round picks start at 8 o'clock tonight. The events are in Philadelphia. An official watch party starts tonight at 7 o'clock at Brothers Bar and Grill on Meridian Street. Colts say the cheerleaders, Blue, the mascot, and players Jack Doyle and Darius Butler will be there. We will keep following the draft closely all evening this evening. And, of course, as it continues then tomorrow and into Saturday, keep the 24-hour News 8 app close for updates. We'll send you interesting news as soon as it hits.
Of course. It is 60 degrees right now at 4:07.
Still ahead on Daybreak, details on the president's plan for tax reform and what Indiana lawmakers think of it.
Plus the latest in the investigation of a large fire at a landfill in the northern part of the state.
It is 4:10 right now. I need to get right back to the breaking news. It is traffic news. Big semi-fire on westbound 70 right near the North Split, just as you'd go south on 65.
And we are still seeing flames. Kevin Rotterman is in Mobile News Tracker on the scene. Kevin?
Good morning. Yes, you can see firefighters here are putting water on the semi. There are still flames showing, but they do have the majority of it taken down. Now, as you can see, the semi is heavily damaged. It's a van trailer showing a lot of damage, just twisted and mangled. This is on I-70 westbound, right as it curves southbound to merge with I-65. If you're familiar with this area, there has been multiple accidents here. Just one recently that shut down part of the North Split just in the last month or two that I covered here on Daybreak. Now, I haven't spoken to firefighters yet because obviously they are busy. I do not know the condition of the driver. I'm going to try to get that information to see if they're doing okay. I also just found out that Joe Malilla will be covering this story this morning. He's on his way out here right now, and he'll be providing updates for the rest of the morning. I'll stay on scene till he gets here and try to gather as much information as I can.
We know you will, Kevin. Thank you so much. It is 4:11 now. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are responding to President Trump's outline for tax reform. The president announced his plan yesterday. The major points include reducing corporate taxes by 20% and tax relief for middle-income families. Indiana Senator Todd Young called the outline a good start. Senator Joe Donnelly says he wants tax reform focused on families.
It leads to a simplified code, leads to lower rates. That translates into more money in the pockets of rank-and-file Hoosiers, lower prices for consumers, and healthier business.
What we have to do is make sure that we focus on helping families, as opposed to some of our corporations already are at a zero tax level. What we need to do is have a fairer tax code that helps working families, that makes sure that the deficit doesn't increase and is fairer to all.
You might be wondering how this will impact us in central Indiana.
We talked with one of the leaders at IUPUI. He says right now it's too soon to tell. Anthony Page is a vice dean at the IU McKinney School of Law. He says there are still a lot of unanswered questions, like the details of the president's redesigned tax brackets. Page says while it's difficult to say how tax reform would affect people individually, it is possible at least to predict the impact on some groups.
You can safely conclude, though, if you're in the top 1% or top 5%, your taxes will be substantially lower. And if you're a very low income, if you're a couple that earns $24,000 or less, that will likely also help. For the middle class, we'll need to see the details.
The White House says the reform lowers tax rates, leading to economic growth and therefore more money. Critics say if spending does not increase as well, the deficit could grow. It is 4:13 right now. We're on this breaking traffic news. We're just in from INDOT through its Twitter account. 70, the expectation at the North Split, will be closed 4 hours because of this.
Not good news. For at least you're watching. You know what to expect. We'll give you as many workarounds as we can and get you going smoothly today. But that is, you're going to have to avoid that for
all right, so
all morning long.
Yeah, Stephanie, you've got a headline this morning.
There you
Please
go.
to be able to work on.
Yeah, 2 headlines this morning. We're waking up to rain and we're waking up to that accident. We're still seeing those light showers just towards the north and west of Indianapolis. When will these move out? When's the next chance of seeing some more storms? Details on your forecast coming up after the break.
It is 4:16 right now. Need to get back to the breaking news. Earliest of risers. If you've just joined us, you need to know this. And frankly, everybody for the next several hours will, if they plan to go near downtown Indianapolis at all. There's a big semi-fire that has traffic snarled already.
This is a live picture right now from our mobile news tracker. You see fire crews are on the scene working to put out the flames from this fire. And clearly a lot of damage. We do not yet know if the driver has been injured, if there are any other vehicles involved in this. Mainly from the scene, we can see that the semi is taking up the majority of it. Of course, we do now know several lanes of I-70 will be closed for up to 4 hours. That's the latest from INDOT.
Let's get to other top stories, but we will jump right back in with traffic and weather not long from now. Interesting fallout from a fire in northern Indiana. Health officials there say the air is safe despite this massive fire at a landfill in Elkhart. Started about 3:45 yesterday morning. Crews were watching the landfill well into last night to make sure it did not flare up again. Elkhart County Health Examiner says that there's been no toxic material found in the air so far. Officials are still encouraging people who might have breathing problems to stay inside, though. No word specifically yet what started that fire.
Okay, at 4:18, right back to that breaking news on I-70. This is now a different view from up high. You can see the north split, and you can see the emergency responders there. It's now that they've gotten the flames down, there's not as much from this viewpoint, but you can see the beginning of what will be a very snarled day on the interstate.
Stephanie Beat is tackling traffic and weather, of course. Weather actually may factor into this a little bit. Is rain started to hit that area right downtown Indianapolis, or we're right on the edge of it?
You know what? When this happened, we had the heavier showers actually move through. So that might have been probably a culprit of why this might have happened. We're only going to continue to see rain showers really throughout our morning commutes. That's what folks need to keep in mind when they're heading the roads, but also this larger accident as well. So a lot to keep in mind as you're heading out on the roads this morning for your Thursday morning. It's a milder start to the day. So as you're heading out the door, you will need your umbrella because we are looking at those light showers sweeping through the area right now, just to the south and west of Indianapolis. Nothing really severe or strong associated with it, so that's the good news as we head into later this morning and into this afternoon. We're starting to see it fizzle down just a bit, and as we widen out the view, low pressure system and a cold front now off towards the west. Mass moisture up towards the northern half of Illinois and off towards Wisconsin. So after we see this line of very light showers moving through, we should dry out for the rest of the day. 60s throughout this morning. We're going to fall temperature-wise throughout this afternoon as a cold front moves through and brings in colder air. And you notice off towards the west, we are looking at temperatures starting off in the 40s, and that's a taste of what we'll see for tomorrow morning. Right now we're in the 60s, though, very similar to yesterday. 64 in Shelbyville, 60 in Indianapolis, 59 up towards Lafayette this morning. So not a bad start to the day. Forecasted high at around 63. That's below normal for this time of year by about 4 degrees. But we have been spoiled with the warmer weather, so comfortable outside throughout the day today. Wind conditions right now out of the south, bringing in the warmer air, and we'll start to see that shift throughout the afternoon, which is why temperatures are going to drop throughout the day today. So futurecast for Tuesday, after the light showers at around 9 a.m. off towards our far eastern communities, those will start to shift out. We will see quite a bit of cloud cover left over for Tuesday afternoon. So we will see mostly cloudy skies, which won't allow temperatures to warm up throughout the day today. Partly cloudy skies throughout the overnight hours. We do clear out just a touch as we head into the overnight hours of Tuesday, or overnight hours of Thursday into Friday morning. But for tonight, we will dry out, which is the good news. Partly cloudy skies by around 9, 11 o'clock tonight. We fall into the lower 50s, but we do have the threat of severe weather heading into Friday night and into Saturday morning. We have an enhanced risk down towards Bloomington and Bedford, a slight risk throughout much of central half of Indiana, and then up towards Kokomo and Lafayette. We're looking at a marginal risk. That we'll keep an eye on as we head into Friday night and into Saturday. So Futurecast planning that out for us. By around 2 o'clock, we're already starting to see some showers up towards Kokomo, Lafayette, and then off towards the state line of Indiana and Illinois, we start to see those light showers push through. Friday, we start to see those isolated showers and thunderstorms up towards Kokomo. It's really not until the overnight hours of Saturday where those stronger thunderstorms, potentially severe, start to move through down towards our southern counties. And then by Saturday, we're under the marginal risk of seeing some severe weather as well. Rain will be a huge factor as we go into this weekend. We're expected to see a nice soaking rain with upwards to around 3 to 5 inches for some locations. So flooding could be an issue for some locations as we head into this weekend. 66 for Saturday, rain and storms, 75 by Sunday. Still seeing rain and storms, potentially stronger storms come Sunday night into Monday. So a very active weather weekend. 72 by Friday, scattered afternoon storms, 66 Saturday, Sunday again. Chance of some stronger storms during the afternoon. Temperatures in the 70s. Windy by Monday. Showers, we dry out Tuesday, high of 66. Remain in the 60s by Wednesday into Thursday. But let's head over to that breaking news with that accident off towards the North Split. It looks like they have a lot of the fire out, which is good news. They're making some progress. This is near the I-70 North Split. So we could have 4 lanes closed. We do have 1 lane open, and we have someone actually live out on the scene. So, Kevin, what are you seeing right now?
Good morning, Stephanie. Yes, I'm not sure if there's actually 1 lane open on I-70 westbound right now. As you can see, fire crews do have a decent control, a decent handle on the situation right now. There's a little bit of flame smoldering in what's left of the van trailer, but mostly the entirety of the fire is mostly, and they're down to just the hot spots. All lanes, from what I can tell, of I-70 are closed because there's the crews here on this side of the barrier, and just on the other side of the concrete barrier, that's the exit for Michigan Street, for New York Street, and there's a fire truck parked facing the wrong direction. I'm not seeing any traffic getting by that direction. As far as I could tell, any traffic heading westbound on I-70 right now has to exit onto I-65 northbound from what I can see. So as you can see, fire crews are still working. I have not got an update from them on the condition of the driver. They're very busy right now. They haven't had a chance to update us at all. But Joe Malillo did just pull up on scene. He will be following this story for the rest of the morning, and we'll be bringing you all the updates right here on Daybreak.
All right, thank you so much for that update, Kevin. So if we head over to the traffic map, we will see that accident again near the North Split this morning. Quite an active morning as we're heading out for your morning commute. And you can see here traffic moving slowly. Hasn't updated whether or not the lanes are closed, but just going off of Kevin, he's not seeing traffic moving through. So this is I-70 westbound. 4 left lanes block at exit I-65. So recommended exits to take or recommended detours to take if you need to get through that area. 465, mainly for semi-traffic. And if you need to get through that area, also rural Keystone, then take either 10th to Michigan Street or Washington Street, whatever gets you to your destination a little bit faster.
All right, Stephanie, thanks for the analysis. Kevin, of course, for the pictures, and we'll stay on that breaking traffic news. 424 right now.
An Ohio woman is safe after police rescued her from a pit under her neighbor's shed. They say she was being held captive. Details ahead on Daybreak.
We post breaking news and story updates 24 hours a day on Facebook. Join the conversation by following Wish TV.
It is 427, 60 degrees outside, raining in some spots across central Indiana, and there is still quite a scene active right now on I-70 near the North Split. This is the westbound lanes near I-65, and all of those westbound lanes are closed right now because of this. A fire from a semi. It looks like the fire, for the most part, is out, but that is clearly going to be a problem for quite some time. INDOT's expectation is up to 4 hours they may have those roads shut down. So we'll stay with both the scene, with Joe Malillo headed there right now. Kevin Rotterman, who has already brought us some new information, and Stephanie Mead's traffic updates will be worth watching as well. Again, fire near the North Split that's going to tangle traffic, at least in the early morning hours.
We are following even more breaking news for you this morning. One person is dead in a crash on the southeast side. The scene is at Emerson and Flintstone. Authorities confirmed to us that a pedestrian has died after being struck by a vehicle. There's no word yet on the exact circumstances of what happened, but we are continuing to gather information for you right now, and we'll have it right here on Daybreak and on the Wish TV mobile app.
428 in Greenfield, police are offering a $1,000 reward to find a man accused in a deadly drunk driving crash. The crash happened late on March 4th. They say a passenger in Jason Phelps' car was killed when Phelps missed a curve on South State Road 9 and rolled the vehicle several times. According to our news gathering partners at the Greenfield Reporter, medics took Phelps to the hospital and he was released, but they've not seen him since. If you know where to find him, they ask that you call Crime Stoppers, 317-262-TIPS. There is a court appearance scheduled today for a man in Ohio accused of kidnapping a woman and keeping her in a hole under a shed. This happened Tuesday night, not far from us, in a town just east of Cincinnati, I beg your pardon. Police say the woman's mother reported her missing and then went out to look for her. She says she heard screams coming from the shed. Police say the victim was in a hole 2 feet wide and 20 inches deep. Here, a neighbor talks about the man accused.
He never seemed like the type to do something like this. He never came off that way to me. Definitely not to kidnap somebody.
It's very scary living this close and having somebody live that close by that's that way.
Police say the man does have a history of mental illness. He now faces kidnapping charges. It is 429 right now, again 60 degrees in Indianapolis.
New laws are on the books in Indiana. The governor's signature is making its way to more bills. We'll outline how they affect you.
Also, what a Central Indiana group is doing to try to make certain families with children who are ill get what they need, as Daybreak is all local all morning.
From Wish TV's 24-hour News 8, this is Breaking News.
Breaking news is on the roads, one of the busiest spots in every morning commute, I-70 westbound, right near the North Split.
A semi has caught fire and several lanes are shut down and for several hours. Our Joe Malillo joins our team coverage on the scene. Joe, what are you learning?
Yeah, known as the North Split, guys, I-70 westbound to I-65 southbound, that's where this happened, and you could see the smoldering wreckage still left over. I was able to talk to the driver of the 18-wheeler behind this truck. He told me just a few moments ago that while he was driving regular speed, about speed limit here, getting off this exit, going on to I-65 southbound, that he saw this truck in front of him swerve to the left into the fast lane and the left side lane, and then go back to overcorrect himself and then slam into one of the concrete barriers about maybe 100 yards back or so. You can actually see that when you walk back there, where the car actually made impact, or the tractor trailer made impact with the wall, and then ended up catching fire. He said that both of the drivers inside, he was able to see them leave the cab of the truck before it caught fire. He says those people are doing fine, but he's obviously stuck. He was on the end of his shift when they talked, but at this point, we're here on scene as the firefighters kind of continue their knocking out what's left at this point. And we're going to be here. We're going to try to find out exactly what happened. And as soon as we get more, especially with DOT tweeting out that they are expecting this lane, or at least this ramp, to be closed for the next 4 hours, that's something that obviously is going to impact traffic heavily this morning. And we'll be on top of it, and we'll be here. Guys?
All right, Joe, thanks. More jump in. Stephanie, my apologies, right to you.
Yeah, and we will look at quite a bit of delays. We're heading out towards that area this morning. It looks like a slowdown right now, and according to Kevin, who reported a little bit earlier, a lot of all of the lanes are closed and doesn't look like any traffic is being let through. Slowdowns as of right now still at our 4 o'clock hour. So I-70 westbound, the 4 left lanes are blocked near exit I-65. So as we look out there, we did have a nice view from Joe from his live shot just a bit ago, but we are looking at a lot of police presence, as well as a lot of fire presence as well. So here are a bit of detours if you're heading out towards that area. I-465 mostly for semi-traffic. For folks who usually use that, you might want to consider using rural at Keystone, and then use 10th Street or Michigan Street or Washington Street, any of those streets, to get around this accident for this morning. I'll provide more detours and more information on this accident as we head into the next couple of hours of daybreak. Weather-wise, though, we are waking up to some rain. Yesterday, very active day weather-wise. We did see a large majority of the storm reports, more in the way of wind damage, as well as quite a bit of hail with those severe thunderstorms. Also, a funnel report just down towards Greencastle. No tornadoes, but very large hail associated with those severe thunderstorms that moved through. Right now, though, nothing severe or strong. We are looking at some showers right now over Indianapolis, stretching all the way up towards Lafayette, and then down towards the Columbus area. After this moves out, we will see maybe a spotty shower or two around your 10, 11 o'clock hour. But other than that, we do dry out. We do see quite a bit of cloud cover left over throughout the afternoon. 65 as you're heading out the door. You'll need your umbrella, not necessarily throughout this afternoon, but you will need your jacket because temperatures are going to fall throughout the day today. When you're getting off the bus, temps will be in the upper 50s. Starting off in the 60s right now. It's 60 in Indianapolis, 64 in Shelbyville. It is 59 down towards Bedford this morning, and wind conditions are starting off a bit breezy to windy at times for folks up towards our northern community. So we're starting off with a wet morning commute. Strong to potentially severe thunderstorms to end off the work week, and we're in store for a very active weekend. Timing on what we can see coming up in your full forecast.
Stephanie, thank you. We are following even more breaking news for you this morning. One person we learned has died in a crash on the southeast side. The scene is Emerson and Flintstone. That's north of Emerson and Southport. Police dispatchers in Indianapolis confirmed to us that a pedestrian has died after being struck by a vehicle. We still do not know what led up to the crash. So as we learn circumstances and we gather even more from police, of course, we'll update you here on Daybreak and online on wishtv.com and the Wish TV mobile app.
4:37 right now. There is another push underway right now to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act.
After weeks of closed-door negotiations, Republican lawmakers have introduced another new bill. They're calling it the MacArthur Amendment. The changes have swayed some opponents in the Conservative Freedom Caucus. The revised measure hopes to give states a chance to limit coverage for pre-existing conditions. It also cuts back on Medicaid. Lawmakers say they are still investigating the bill.
Seems like a fairly complicated proposal. It's going to take a little while to review it, and so that's what I've got to do to make sure people are protected in terms of pre-existing conditions, and I'm not there yet.
House Speaker Paul Ryan says the new measures will save on costs that can be passed along to consumers. He hopes to get the rest of the party to agree. Governor Eric Holcomb continues to sign bills passed in the state legislative session. The session ended last week. Yesterday, Holcomb signed an education bill expanding the state's pre-K program from 5 to 20 counties. It also increases funding for early education programming by $10 million per year. Holcomb also signed 3 bills designed to attack the drug epidemic. The bills limit the amount of opioids that can be prescribed on a patient's first opioid prescription. One bill also allows local governments to establish syringe exchange programs. Another increases the level of felony for robbing a pharmacy. According to the governor's office, Indiana ranks 15th in the country in overdose deaths. Happening right now, a group of Central Indiana women have been pulling an all-nighter to help the families of children who are seriously ill.
Members of the Junior League of Indianapolis have been at it since midnight. They're cooking meals, preparing welcome kits for families at the Ronald McDonald House of Central Indiana. That's where families can stay, where their children get treatment at Riley Hospital or other hospitals in the area. It is part of the group's project, 95 hours of continuous volunteering. The effort runs through Sunday. It is 4:39 right now, again 60 degrees to start.
Ahead on Daybreak, we'll hear from concerned parents discussing the plans to close some Indianapolis public schools.
Also, the president may be changing his position on NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. See why the president may not end the agreement, though he had said he wants to. It is at 4:42 right now. Several views for you of the top story of the morning. It happened just before we signed on daybreak. Look, lower right side of your screen, you'll see the worst of the flames of this semi-wreck.
This is something that will impact your day if you drive anywhere near downtown and use the interstate system for several hours now, because NDOT has confirmed they expect all lanes of westbound I-70 to be closed for 4 hours, and that's at least.
Yeah, okay, so lower right-hand screen, that was about 4 o'clock as we signed on. Upper left and the lower left are the view right now. So the fire is less of the worry. What's going to happen with the traffic is starting to become a very real consideration. So we'll stay on this.
Another good thing to pass along to you, though, our Joe Malillo confirmed by talking with another driver who witnessed this, that driver actually saw 2 people in this semi-cab exit before the fire started. So they seem to be okay.
Yeah, if that proves to be true, that's big news as well. So we'll stay on that. 4:42 right now. Do need to get the headlines away from that wreck. Some parents are clearly worried about the plans to close several IPS buildings.
Now, they got their first chance to talk about the closures during a public meeting last night. As we've reported on Daybreak, a task force is recommending IPS close 3 high schools to save money. Members of the task force and the school board sat down with parents to talk about their concerns. Parents say they want more information about where the money the district will supposedly save is going to go.
My question is, where is that money going to go if these schools are closed, and if those monies are still going to be available for the children that are going to be disrupted by the closing? Is that money going to follow them wherever they go? And that's my big concern.
3 more community meetings are scheduled for the coming weeks. We have the details of those on wishtv.com. Indiana State University leaders say they plan to start their search for a new president soon. The current president, Daniel Bradley, announced yesterday that he plans to resign. Bradley says he will step down in January of next year. He was selected as the university's 11th president in July 2008.
It is now 4:44. We're at 60 degrees to start in Indianapolis.
And a soggy start for some of us. Stephanie Mead.
Yeah, we're looking at a soggy start for most of downtown Indianapolis, stretching all the way up towards the Lafayette and Kokomo area and even down towards Columbus. But the good news is we do have a drier day ahead of us. Details on that coming up in your full forecast after the break.
Back again at 4:47 to breaking news this morning on the southeast side of Indianapolis. Police are on the scene of a deadly crash on Emerson and Flintstone, which is north of Southport. Dispatch tells us the person who has died was walking in or across the street. We are working to learn more about how the pedestrian was hit. As we learn more, we will bring you updates on air, online, and on the go.
Some international news for you now. President Trump appears to be shifting his stance on NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. The president told leaders of Canada and Mexico he's not planning to end it, at least not immediately, and would be willing to renegotiate the deal. During his campaign, Trump promised to end the agreement, saying it hurts U.S. workers. In a written statement, the president said, quote, "It is my privilege to bring NAFTA up to date through renegotiation, and I believe the end result will make all three countries stronger and better," end quote.
Okay, once again, we want to bring you another view of the other breaking news that we will be on all morning long for you. It started at the very top of the show when a semi-fire happened on the north split. This is on I-70 in the westbound lanes, but right at the entrance to I-65, where we now know that all 4 lanes will be closed for at least 4 hours, according to NDOT.
A few things jump out as we look at that picture. The flames are much less, maybe even out at this point, but the splashback is still significant because you look at all of those headlights and the lights of the emergency responders, they reflect back on the road. So it's a soggy morning as they work at that scene right now and as drivers deal with whatever is ahead of them.
And we know these crashes take quite a bit of time to clean up. That's why we're facing these 4 hours.
Yeah, and you know what? It's only just before 5 o'clock too.
Right.
We haven't even hit the main morning commute, and we still have some rain in the forecast. So a lot of people heading out on the roads have a lot to kind of deal with for their morning commute. So as we, head out to the roads this morning, we will see that accident, but we'll also see some rain still moving into the area. And as we look at Viper radar, still seeing that line of showers moving in. We're going to see temperatures throughout the day today hitting the middle to lower 60s throughout this morning, and then throughout this afternoon, we're going to fall into the 50s. So that line of showers moving up to the northeast. Right behind that, maybe some very light shower activity moving into the area. Other than that, we're going to remain on the quieter side as we head throughout this afternoon. It looks like a lot of the rain, or heavier rain at least, heading up towards northern Illinois and also off towards the Milwaukee area throughout this morning and into this afternoon. So for today's forecast, we could maybe hear a rumble of thunder throughout this morning. Other than that, the showers shift off towards the north and east. 65, temperatures tumble throughout this afternoon. We could see maybe a little bit of sun peeking through some clouds, and then mostly cloudy skies later today with temperatures only in the upper 50s by our 5 o'clock hour. And we notice we're only going to get colder as we head into the next couple of hours because we have a cold front off towards the west. You notice 43 off towards the far western half of Illinois. It's 47 in Springfield right now, down towards St. Louis at 50 degrees. So that's a 10-degree difference than what we're seeing here in Indianapolis this morning. It's 59 out towards the Bloomington area, 59 also in Bedford, and it's 60 waking up for folks here in Indianapolis. Forecasted high for today at 63. Our average high for this time of year is 67, so we'll be below normal for this time of year throughout the afternoon. Wind conditions not quite as blustery as yesterday, but still a bit breezy, and they're going to shift as that cold front moves through, which is going to bring in the colder air throughout the afternoon. So futurecast showing those light showers shifting off towards the east around our 9 o'clock hour. We dry out, so at around lunch we do see considerable cloud cover throughout the afternoon, but the good news is we stay dry. A lot of the clouds start to thin throughout the overnight, so make sure some clouds and stars. And then as we start off the day on Friday, we will see a little bit of cloud cover and a little bit of sun, but then the clouds start to increase and the next chance of showers arrives late tomorrow night. So by 7 o'clock tonight, 59, 57 by 9, and then by 11 o'clock, we're looking at 53 degrees. And the good news is wind conditions start to die down a bit, anywhere between around 5 to 10 miles an hour. But the thunderstorms I was mentioning earlier, we do have the threat of seeing some severe weather down towards Bloomington, Bedford, and also parts of Columbus is under the enhanced risk come tomorrow night. There's also a slight risk for Indianapolis and most of central Wisconsin for tomorrow night, as well as up towards Kokomo and Lafayette under that marginal risk for tomorrow. So planning out those storms here on Futurecast, mostly cloudy skies throughout much of Friday morning, and then those light showers move through at around our 1 o'clock hour for our northern communities. It's really not until late Friday into early Saturday morning where those stronger to potentially severe thunderstorms move into the area. So as we head into Saturday morning, we have a marginal risk for a majority of the southern half of our viewing area. But rain is going to be a big issue heading into this weekend. and it's going to come fast, and we're going to see a lot of it in a very short period of time, around 3 to 5 inches for some locations to end off the weekend and to start off the work week next week. So flooding may be a concern for some locations. 66 for Saturday, rain and storms. 75 by Sunday, still seeing rainy and stormy weather and potentially stronger storms by Sunday into Monday morning. So 65 by Saturday, 75 by Sunday, then by Monday, 57 degrees, 66 come Tuesday. But the good news is Tuesday is we do dry out, 68 come Wednesday. Then Thursday we dry out with highs in the lower 60s. So a bit of a cooler stretch come Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So let's get back on that breaking news for traffic as you're heading out the door this morning. We are looking at the scene right now. It looks like the fire is out, and this is I-70 near the North Split this morning, a route that is used by a lot of folks for your morning commute. So kind of keep that in mind as you're watching us this morning, that you might need to figure out a detour as you're heading out towards this area, or at least use it to get into the city for your morning commute. So as we look at our traffic maps, we are looking at that closed road, also the closed ramp. All 4 lanes are closed for I-70 heading westbound near exit I-65. The exit is also closed. So as we look at our NDOT cam, and we're still seeing quite an active scene out there with reflecting lights, so keep that in mind for folks usually using that road. I have some detours for you right here. For usual semi-traffic, use 465 this morning. The side roads might be a little bit difficult for that large volume of semi-traffic. So Rural to Keystone, if you take that exit and then use the side streets of either 10th Street, Michigan Street, or you can also use the other option of Washington Street to get around that this morning and make your morning commute a little bit smoother.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you. Yes, certainly one you must avoid, as those lanes are blocked and closed for several hours this morning. 4:53 now, warning for you parents. Police in Central Indiana are asking that you look out for a new kind of candy you don't want your kids eating. It's laced with a drug. Everything you need to know next. Back again at 4:56, there's a new warning from police in Bartholomew County about candy laced with the drug Xanax. The County Sheriff's Department says it's known as Xanny Tarts. Deputies say the Xanny Tarts are a popular way for high school students to ingest Xanax. Xanax is a prescription medication typically used in the treatment of anxiety. Deputies say they found a 17-year-old Columbus high school student with the candy. The sheriff says there are worries much more could be out there. The candy can lead to an overdose. In Beech Grove, a woman is searching for answers. She got a nasty note after she says she rightfully parked in a handicap spot at a local grocery store. It happened Tuesday afternoon outside the Kroger on Thompson near Emerson. Emily Fry says she has a serious heart condition. She says she has been cleared to drive, but her doctor gave her the tag and advised her to use handicap spots when possible. Fry says she's gotten a lot of support after posting a photo of the note on Facebook. Facebook users have shared the post 65 times. 4:57 now. Ahead on Daybreak, students and staff at IUPUI are learning how to defend themselves after the university's third reported sexual assault.
After nearly 3 years, a judge will sentence Major Davis Jr. for murder of the IMPD officer Perry Wren. We have more details about what we expect to happen in court today coming up. Remember, Daybreak is all local, all morning.
Live from Wish TV's 24-hour News 8, this is Breaking News.
We are on Breaking News for you this morning. This is the very worst of the flames that we saw this morning about 90 minutes ago on westbound I-70, a semi-fire that has shut down I-70 right at the North Split coming into downtown.
That's right. This is video of just the massive flames when it first began. Joe Malillo is there on the ground watching what's happening. Joe, what's the very latest right now?
Yeah, good morning to you both. As you could tell, the flames have died down. It's a lot less. Smoke is still smoldering just a little bit. Probably about a minute and a half ago, they stopped smoldering. We're at the westbound I-70 southbound I-70 southbound I-65 ramp that is closed. But I want to also mention that the fact that the Michigan Street exit, the one that runs parallel to this ramp, is closed as well. There's debris scattered along that end and on those lanes and that road, and there's debris on the roadway, still a little bit of smoke. Again, DOT says that the road is closed for the next 4 hours. Obviously a huge impact on this morning commute. I did talk to the driver of the truck behind this semi that was involved in the crash. He told me he saw the truck swerve from the right-hand lane into the left-hand lane, and then that truck driver tried to overcorrect and then ended up slamming into the concrete barrier and then skidded to a stop. He also did tell me that they did see, once he saw the flames, he tried to call 911. They said that DOT was almost already on the scene, and he also saw both drivers of this truck get out and out of the way. So at least we know from the truck driver behind this semi-truck involved in the crash that those two drivers are safe at this point. We're working on to see how long it's going to take to let at least this line of trucks that are backed up get by, and once they get by, expect the road to be closed completely, including that Michigan Street exit that runs again parallel to this I-70 westbound I-65 southbound north split. Guys, it's going to be a mess this morning.
Absolutely so. And we're watching the weather as well. It's splashy where Joe is right now. We've seen some waves of rain come through even as they were trying to fight the fire.
That's right. Stephanie Mead is joining us right now with a traffic update, because you never know that this could be weather related. What happened here?
Yeah, we did see an earlier downpour at around 2-3 o'clock in the morning, so that could have been the culprit of seeing it resulting in this accident. As Joe mentioned before, we do have the ramp closed to I-65 from I-70 westbound, but also the 4 lanes of traffic heading into that area are also closed. As we look outside, we did see earlier that the fire is now out, but we are still looking at quite a heavy presence of law enforcement there, kind of easing the accident scene for folks who are already stuck on the road. So traffic watch and looking at the different detours you could possibly take this morning. So I-465 mostly should be used by the semi-traffic or for regular car traffic. Rural to Keystone, as Joe mentioned before, Michigan Street really not an option anymore, so you could dub that out for Washington Street, or you could also use 10th Street as a detour as you're heading out the door this morning. Other than that, really not seeing too much in the way of traffic. But weather front, we are looking at some very light showers moving into the area. From yesterday, we did see quite a bit of wind damage, hail damage, some larger hail with those severe thunderstorms. The good news is waking up this morning, we're waking up to a calmer morning. Just some light sprinkles, now shifting off towards the north and east. So just north of the city of Indianapolis, making its way up towards Kokomo. Right now we're seeing the heaviest of rain off towards the Greenfield area, also off towards Fishers as well. So folks that are in that area, usually heading into Indianapolis, could see some wet roads as they're heading out for their morning commute. Other than that, the heaviest of rain right now focused up towards northern Illinois, making its way up to the north and east towards the Milwaukee, Green Bay area. So wet for folks up towards the north of us. By this afternoon, though, we will dry out. 1 o'clock, last of the showers move through. Temperatures are going to hold on steady into the upper 50s, so we're only going to decrease temperature-wise throughout the day. As you notice, heading out the door this morning for the bus stop, 65 degrees. Winds still a bit blustery out of the southwest, between 10 to 15 miles an hour. We cool off this afternoon with mostly cloudy skies, highs only in the upper 50s. It's 60 right now in Indianapolis, 58 in Lafayette this morning, and 60 in Kokomo. Take advantage of the warmer weather right now because it's only going to get colder throughout this afternoon, but also quite stormy for this weekend. This is for tomorrow. We have an enhanced risk down towards our southern portions of the viewing area, slight for most of the metro Indianapolis area up towards Fort Wayne under that marginal risk for severe weather. And I'll give you details and timing on when we should see those storms in your full forecast.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. And we are following more breaking news for you this morning. One person is dead in a crash on the southeast side. The scene is at Emerson and Flintstone. That's north of Emerson and Southport. Police dispatchers in Indianapolis confirm that a pedestrian did die after they were struck by a vehicle. There's no word yet on the exact circumstances of what led up to this, but we are working to get more information right now, and we'll have it for you here on Daybreak and, of course, always on the Wish TV app.
Happening today, a judge is set to sentence Major Davis Jr. for the murder of Indianapolis police officer Perry Wren.
Just last Friday, the Marion County Prosecutor's Office announced a plea deal was reached in the case. 24 Hour News 8's Nina Criscolo is live at the City County building downtown with more on what we expect to find out at today's sentencing hearing. Nina.
Kylie, according to the plea deal you mentioned, Major Davis Jr. will likely receive a life sentence today without the chance for parole. This could be the last chapter in what has been nearly 3 years of following this high-profile murder case. Last Friday, Major Davis Jr. pled guilty to the July 5th, 2014 murder of IMPD officer Perry Wren. He admits to killing Officer Wren during a shootout with police that night. Since Davis' arrest, the case has taken several legal twists and turns. Last October, a judge found Davis was incompetent to stand trial, but after psychiatric treatment, Davis was then found to be competent in February. Prosecutor Terry Curry said that's when serious talks about a plea deal began, and they were ultimately able to agree to a guilty plea with the penalty being a life sentence without parole.
We feel particularly motivated to see that justice is done and to send the message that this is unacceptable, that our police officers, whether it's here, whether it's Dallas, whether it's any city in the country, is just absolutely unacceptable.
Curry said a capital murder trial could have taken at least several more years compared to reaching a plea agreement. Curry also said Friday Wren's wife was kept in the loop during this process and did voice support for the plea agreement in a statement. We will have that in our 6 o'clock hour of Daybreak. As for Davis' hearing today, that is set for 9 o'clock this morning. We will be here. Look for updates on 24-hour News 8 at noon.
Okay, Nina, we'll look forward to that. Thank you. At 5:07 right now, an Indianapolis father on trial for the death of his 3-month-old daughter is cleared of the murder charge against him. A jury found Jeffrey Fairbanks not guilty of murder, but did find him guilty of neglect of a dependent resulting in death. His daughter went missing in May of 2015, sparking a massive months-long search. Baby Jana's body has never been found. Fairbanks told police he buried her in a cornfield, then later said he threw the baby's body in a dumpster. He's scheduled to be sentenced next month.
Police are looking into a third reported sexual assault on the IUPUI campus in less than a week. Authorities say the third assault happened Tuesday near Carroll Stadium. Police say they are questioning someone they're describing as a person of interest. They say that person matches the description given in all 3 reports. They say that person is not under arrest. School has not yet spoken with us about this on camera. We did speak with some students who say they're taking extra steps to be safe on campus.
If you're walking through campus at night, it can be scary knowing that that's happening more and more now.
I think you should carry mace wherever you go, just because you never know what could happen. And I don't really think that this campus is dangerous. You can't trust everybody you know, so.
A group of students and staff members at IUPUI has new training on what to do if someone would ever try to attack them.
Campus police led more than 24 students and staff through a class called Rape Aggression Defense. Those attending practice different techniques to get away from an attacker. The instructor finds the class rewarding for more than just the students.
It's also empowering for me. I like to see the way they come in, not realizing how powerful they are as compared to when they go out, feeling very empowered, feeling very confident in their abilities and the fact that they can protect themselves.
The police teach classes like this throughout the year. The next one is scheduled for October. Each class is $25. We have more information on wishtv.com. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are responding to President Trump's outline for tax reform. The president announced his plans yesterday. The major points include reducing corporate taxes by 20% and tax relief for middle-income families. Indiana Senator Todd Young called the outline a good start. Senator Joe Donnelly says he wants tax reform focused on families.
It leads to a simplified code, leads to lower rates. That translates into more money in the pockets of rank-and-file Hoosiers, lower prices for consumers, and healthier business.
What we have to do is make sure that we focus on helping families, as opposed to some of our corporations already are at a 0 tax level. What we need to do is have a fairer tax code that helps working families, that makes sure that the deficit doesn't increase and is fairer to all.
You might be wondering how this will impact people here in central Indiana.
We spoke with a leader at IUPUI who says right now it's too soon to tell. Anthony Page, a vice dean at the McKinney School of Law. He says that there are still questions that need to be answered, such as details of the president's redesigned tax brackets. He says while it is tough to say how the tax reform will affect people on the individual level, it's possible to at least predict its impact on some groups.
You can safely conclude, though, if you're in the top 1% or top 5%, your taxes will be substantially lower. And if you're very low income, if you're a couple that earns $24,000 or less, that will likely also help. For the middle class, we'll need to see the details.
The White House says the reform will lower tax rates, leading to economic growth and more money in the system. Critics say if spending does not increase, the deficit could grow.
It is 5:11 now. In Colts Watch, the first rounds of the NFL draft start later today.
Colts have the 15th pick. This will be the first chance for new general manager Chris Ballard to draft new players. He has already added some new players through free agency. As for the pick, our sports department says it appears the team is leaning heavily toward defense.
You can see the moves we've made so far. I mean, look, we're going to be active. We're going to be active in the draft. We're going to be active claiming players. We're going to be active working guys out. We're going to be active signing future guys. We're always going to be looking to get better.
Other possible early selections include a top running back and help on the offensive line. First round starts 8 o'clock tonight. The big events are in Philadelphia. The Colts have an official watch party tonight, starting at 7 o'clock at Brothers Bar and Grill on Meridian Street. The Colts say they'll have the cheerleaders down there, Blue the mascot. A couple of players, Jack Doyle and Darius Butler, will be there, and we will be following the draft as well. 24-hour News 8 is always a good place to watch. You can also keep your app handy. I guarantee you when we find out who the pick is, we'll shoot that out on your mobile device. 5:12 right now, 60 degrees.
We have the latest on an investigation of a large fire at a landfill in northern Indiana.
And we're looking at the chance of some stronger to potentially severe storms to end off your work week. I'll give you timing on those in your full forecast after the break.
Call 24-hour News 8 when you see breaking news. Our breaking news tip line is 24-8 News. That's 248-6397.
Welcome back. It is 5:15 right now. This Thursday morning, we have a live look for you. Several images right here. One of what it looked like at the very beginning of a huge fire on westbound I-70 near I-65 of a semi there.
The fire about 4 o'clock this morning. Worst flames right there, as you mentioned. The fire's out now, but the trouble is clearly not. We are watching both from the air and on the ground as well to see when they may be able to get traffic through there right now. The headline you need to know, westbound I-70, you will not be able to get anywhere into or through the downtown area. Other parts of the split look okay coming in from 65, but 70, just listen for Stephanie's workarounds, because you will need to find something else, or just stay on 465 and skip the city altogether if you're just trying to head west of here. More as it develops here on Daybreak. It is 5:16 right now, 60 degrees as we speak. More headlines as we continue.
Yeah, we have more breaking news that we're following this morning. One person is dead in a crash on the southeast side. The scene is at Emerson and Flintstone. That's north of Emerson and Southport. Police dispatchers in Indianapolis confirmed to us that a pedestrian has died after being struck by a vehicle. These are live pictures right now. Our mobile news tracker just got to the scene. We'll get a live report for you as soon as we can.
Health officials say the air is safe despite a massive fire at a landfill up in the very northern part of Indiana. Fire started 3:45 yesterday morning in Elkhart. This video is from the earliest morning hours when it was at its worst. Crews got a handle on it, but then watched it well into last night to make sure it stayed under control. Elkhart County Health Examiner says that it has found no toxic material in the air, but authorities are still encouraging people who have breathing problems to stay indoors. No word yet what started that fire.
We have a live look outside for you right now at 5:17. This is kind of a broad look at Indianapolis right now. We're sitting at 60 degrees this morning. I heard some rain this morning, felt a little bit of it.
Oh, I drove through a monsoon.
You drove really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
it was clearly a wave, Stephanie, where
Yes.
I had nothing, and then I couldn't see anything, and I had to go 5 miles an hour, and then it was nothing again.
Yep.
Yeah, well, the good news is all the heavier rain and even the rumbles of thunder heading off towards the north and east. So folks heading out through their morning commute really don't have to worry about the heavier rain you experienced this morning, Scott. As drivers head out on the road, though, they do have that accident to worry about, but also maybe just some light rain, maybe remnants of that heavier downpour from earlier wet roads. But yesterday, during our evening commute, is when we saw some of the heaviest rain as well as some very large hail and even reports of a funnel cloud down towards the Greencastle area. So severe weather yesterday, and you can kind of see the path of the severe weather off towards the north and east of Indianapolis yesterday. Reports of around 1.25 inches of hail stones falling with this severe weather yesterday. But other than that, throughout the day today, it's going to remain on the quieter side, but also on the drier side throughout this afternoon. So seeing those lighter showers now shifting off towards the Muncie area, off towards Kokomo right now as we widen out the view. Maybe just some very light scattered showers throughout the rest of your morning commute, but the heavier rain well off towards the north and west of us. So that's good news as we head throughout the day today. So at around 9 a.m., still the potential of seeing maybe hearing a rumble of thunder and seeing some maybe light rain showers, temperatures in the middle 60s. Today, by around your lunch hour, we're looking at lower 60s, and then by 4 o'clock tonight, middle to upper 50s. So temperatures are going to fall as that cold front approaches our area. And you notice off towards the west at Springfield, 47 this morning, 49 as temperatures fall in St. Louis. They're only going to fall for us throughout the day today. Light jacket needed as you're heading out the door for later this afternoon. 60 in Indianapolis, 63 in Shelbyville, it's 58 in Lafayette. Normal high for this year is around 67 degrees. We won't reach that. Highs today forecasted only around 63 degrees, so not quite as warm as the past couple of days. Winds still out of the south at around 10 to 15 miles an hour, so a bit of a breeze throughout the day today. And Futurecast showing the last of the showers shifting out around 9:30, 10 o'clock, but still seeing a lot of cloud cover left over by around your lunchtime. So mostly cloudy skies throughout the rest of the day today. They start to thin out just a touch throughout late Thursday afternoon and then into Thursday evening. We're looking at a mixture of some clouds and stars. It's not until Friday where we start to see the clouds increase, and then more showers and thunderstorms return back late Friday into Saturday morning. So by 7 p.m., a mixture of some sun and clouds, highs in the upper 50s, and then mostly cloudy skies by around our 9, 11 o'clock hour, with lows falling into the lower 50s and upper 40s for tonight as that cold front moves in. But by Friday, we are looking at, again, another chance of a severe weather event for southern Indiana down towards Bloomington and Bedford under the enhanced risk tomorrow. Indianapolis and much of central Indiana, so out towards the Greencastle area, Shelbyville, under the slight risk of seeing some severe weather, areas north under the marginal risk. So planning that out, Futurecaster, we start off quiet tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, and then some showers move in up towards the north of us, so up towards Kokomo, seeing showers at around 2 o'clock. It's not until real late Friday into early Saturday where we start to see that severe weather threat start to move into the area. So overnight, we do have a marginal risk into Saturday of seeing some severe weather with the remnants of that shower and thunderstorm complex moving through. But very heavy rain associated with this next system moving through over the weekend. We're looking at upwards of around 3 to potentially 5 inches for some locations. So flooding may be an issue as we head into Saturday and Sunday because it's looking like a soggy weekend. 66 Saturday, 75 for Sunday with scattered showers and thunderstorms, some potentially strong by the end of this weekend and into Monday morning. So 72 by Friday. This weekend, we're in the middle 60s for Saturday, middle 70s for Sunday, 57 by Monday. So windy and damp day, 66 Tuesday, and then a scattered rain shower by Wednesday with highs still in the 60s. So we see a bit of a cold snap as we head into next week. But the good news is some of the days we do see maybe a little bit of sun. For traffic-wise, though, we are still looking at that semi-fire that has closed off I-70 westbound near exit I-65 this morning. Both the I-70 westbound, all lanes are closed. Also, the exit towards I-65 is closed as well for the next 4 hours. And here's the scene still as you're heading out the door, or about to head out the door this morning. You might want to consider just using I-465 and driving around the city, as Scott mentioned earlier in the show. Or if you usually use the North Split, you could also try Rural Keystone and then taking 10th Street or Michigan Street. There's also the option of using Washington Street as you're heading off towards that way if you absolutely need to use the North Split this morning. But other than that, I'm going to still work on detours for you guys coming up in the next traffic hit. Scott, Kylie?
Sounds good, Stephanie. We appreciate it. We know things may change hour by hour during this, so we'll certainly look forward to anything you have to tell us. 5:22 right now.
An Ohio woman is safe after police rescued her from a pit under her neighbor's shed. They say she was being held captive. We have those details ahead on Daybreak.
And amazingly, no one was injured in this crash, at least seriously, enough so that the drivers were able to get out of the truck and get away. I have an interview with a witness coming up.
We post breaking news and story updates 24 hours a day on Facebook. Join the conversation by following Wish TV.
Welcome back. It is 5:25. We continue to follow that breaking news of a fire that has shut down I-70 at the North Split. This is coming into downtown. What you're seeing right now is the fire at its worst. This video was taken about an hour and a half ago, again, on westbound 70. The fire is out right now, but the traffic trouble is far from over. This is a live look right now from a tower cam. NDOT and state police say I-70 there on westbound headed into downtown at the North Split will be shut down throughout the morning commute, so possibly for several more hours.
5:26 right now. We will keep our eye on that news. Away from the traffic, there is a court appearance today for a woman in Ohio. A man in Ohio, I beg your pardon, who's accused of kidnapping a woman and keeping her in a hole under a shed. This all happened Tuesday night, not far from us, in a town just east of Cincinnati. Police say the woman's mother reported her missing, then went out to look for her. She says she heard screams coming from the shed. Police say the victim was in a hole 2 feet wide and 20 inches deep. Here, a neighbor talks about the man accused.
Didn't never seem like the type to do something like this. He never came off that way to me. Definitely not to kidnap somebody.
It's very scary. Living this close and having somebody live that close by, that's that way.
Police say the man does have a history of mental illness. He now faces kidnapping charges. It is 5:27 in Indianapolis, 60 degrees to start.
New laws are on the books here in Indiana. The governor's signature is making its way to more bills. We'll outline how they affect you.
Also, what a Central Indiana group is doing right now as we speak to make certain families whose children are very ill have a place to stay close to their kids. Daybreak is all local all morning.
Live from Wish TV's 24-hour News 8, this is Breaking News.
At 5:30, we are taking you back to the scene of that breaking news. A massive semi-fire has shut down I-70. This is at the North Split if you are coming into downtown.
Picture you can see on your screen right now was the fire at the very worst. That was about 4 o'clock this morning, right after Mobile News Tracker rolled up on it. Fire is largely or completely out right now. Oh, it would be nice if we could say the same for the traffic trouble out there. Let's go to 24-hour News 8's Joe Malillo. He's had the chance to speak with people who saw this happen. You've heard from authorities as well. Where do we stand right now, Joe?
Yeah, in terms of those hot spots, Scott, just talked to state police. They say most of them are out, if not all of them at this point. And the tow truck just showed up to pull this semi-truck out of the way, obviously. But I wanted to pan over and show you the wall where the impact first occurred. We talked to a witness who said that he saw that truck that involved in the fire really right into that wall, but again, the two drivers involved in the crash are okay, surprisingly, even with those flames, at least from the witness that we talked to. We're at westbound I-70, southbound I-65 ramp, and in fact, the Michigan Street exit that runs parallel to it, splits off, is also closed, so keep that in mind as you're going past. There's also debris on both sides of the roadway. They're working to clean that up. In fact, that Michigan Street exit, you can see one of the tractor trailers kind of heading off right now. They had stopped traffic after because there's a lot of debris there, and now it looks like they're letting them go through, which is good news for those drivers. I did talk to the driver involved in the semi-crash, or behind who witnessed it all, and he told me he saw the truck swerve from the right lane into the left lane. It started skidding. He tried to overcorrect, and boom, slammed right into the wall. It eventually skidded to a stop after the flames had started.
I got out of my truck and went to the back, started calling 911, and started walking up there, and then I seen both of them run across the wall there and over to the other side of the road there.
And again, the witness also saw both the people get out of the cab and away from the truck before it really caught fire. We'll be here for the next foreseeable future, for the foreseeable future at this point. Stephanie Mead is going to have to tell you guys what's going on behind, because I can't see very much from this angle. We're kind of inside the North Split at this point. All I can tell you is that trucks at least going 65 northbound, West 70 to go to northbound, they're moving. 4 lanes here are closed. Foreseeable future, definitely closed for the next couple hours, guys.
All right, well, that's good. We do want your perspective on that on the ground, but you do point out we got several different ways we can look at this morning.
Absolutely. Stephanie Mead has been watching this from the get-go, how this is impacting traffic. Stephanie, there are some workarounds, though, right?
There are definitely workarounds. So folks who absolutely do not need to use this area, I don't recommend it. There are detours you can use, but as we go back down into the North Split this morning, again, as Joe mentioned, I-70 westbound, the road is closed, all 4 lanes. Also, the ramp leading to I-65 is also closed. So if you normally use this route to get into work, I recommend that you find another way. And I'll show you different ways coming up in just a bit. We are still looking at a very active scene, and this is using our INDOT cams at I-65 near the North Split, still seeing very heavy presence of law enforcement there, either towing parts of the truck away or still trying to contain that fire from earlier this morning. So here are some of our detours. I-465, that'll lead you around this mess. So if you do not need to use that, if you usually use the North Split, I highly recommend you use 465 for semi-traffic or for regular car traffic. Rural Keystone, and then if you take the Keystone exit to 10th Street or to Michigan Street or even to Washington Street, there's another way around that mess this morning as you're heading out the door. But folks also have to keep in mind it's also sprinkling outside, Randy.
Yeah, I tell you what here, Stephanie, let's check out Viper radar right now. Has some severe weather yesterday afternoon. We'll check out some of the storm reports here in a little bit, but we do have some light rain, some sprinkles going on across the area. Little batch of light rain now east of Kokomo. Head up here around Marion and Grant County, north of Muncie. Another little batch of rain up there around the Frankfort area, heading towards the northeast. And also a few more showers back out in southwestern Indiana. Big batch of rain, northern Illinois. I see that spin in the atmosphere. So we'll still see a few spotty showers around until mid-morning. Then things will dry out for the rest of the day today. Outside right now at the airport, light rain, 60 degrees, pretty warm out there. Kind of breezy, a south wind coming in about 13 miles an hour. 60 Kokomo, 64 Muncie and Richmond, 63 Shelbyville, and 59 Bloomington, 59. That comes in from Bedford. So this morning here, chance of a spotty shower until around 8 or 9 o'clock or so, 65 degrees. and then we're going to cool it down here. In fact, kind of a breezy, cooler day as kids come back home, mostly cloudy, temperature right around 58. Boy, it's going to be a very active pattern. We'll see a brief break from the rain this afternoon through early tomorrow, and then a risk of severe storms will roll back in by Friday night. So we'll have more on that. Also, Stephanie's been mentioning a very soggy weekend, too. All the details coming up in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Randy, thanks so much. 5:35 right now. We do have more breaking news for you this morning. This also involving a crash. One person dead in a crash on the southeast side of the city.
The scene is at Emerson and Flintstone, that is just north of Southport. Police dispatchers in Indianapolis confirmed to us that a pedestrian has died after being struck by a vehicle. Kevin Rotterman is there now in Mobile News Tracker. Kevin, what have you been able to find out?
I just spoke to a patrolman that was blocking southbound Emerson a few minutes ago. He didn't give me any updated information on the actual scene itself, but he did tell me southbound Emerson will be opening up in the next few minutes. Originally, all of Emerson was shut down between Edgewood and Southport because of this fatal wreck. And all I can see from a distance, they kept us pretty far back. All I can see is it appears there's a van parked in the northbound lane and northbound turn lane. Looks like a maintenance van with some ladders on top, and that's pretty much all I can see from the scene from this location. I'm going to attempt to move a little bit closer and try to gather some more information and some more video and try to speak with police and detectives and see what they think that happened and try to gather some more information. So I'll be taking care of that and bringing more information right here on Daybreak.
All right, jump back in when you do get that. We do appreciate it, Kevin. 5:37 right now. Indiana Senators Joe Donnelly and Todd Young are responding to some of the growing tensions in North Korea and South Korea along the Korean Peninsula. As we reported on Daybreak, the president invited the entire Senate to the White House yesterday to talk about plans for the situation there. Both senators say they agree if sanctions continue to fail, this may end up in military action.
We have to have higher, stronger, more crippling sanctions, and in the absence of those being successful, we have to prepare militarily.
I support the administration's pressure campaign to bring every bit of power, whether it's economic resources, diplomatic resources, or if necessary, military resources to bear to neutralize this threat to the American people.
Of course, the issue here is that North Korea is trying to build up to a nuclear weapon program. A North Korean government official told CNN yesterday the country's nuclear tests would, quoting now, never stop. The official would not say when the country's sixth nuclear test would happen, but said that it would not be influenced by outside events.
Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb continues to sign bills passed in the state legislative session. The session ended last week. Yesterday, Holcomb signed an education bill expanding the state's pre-K program from 5 to 20 counties. It also increases funding for early education by $10 million per year. Holcomb also signed 3 bills designed to attack the drug epidemic. The bills limit the amount of opioids that can be prescribed on a patient's first opioid prescription. One bill also allows local governments to establish syringe exchange programs. Another increases the level of felony for robbing a pharmacy. According to the governor's office, Indiana ranks 15th in the country in overdose deaths. It is 5:38.
Ahead on Daybreak, fighting seizures with a diet, new treatment that doctors are using, and the effort it took to find it as we spring into great health. Drop. It is 5:41 right now. We want to show you sort of this breaking news story of the morning, both the worst of it, which was right as we signed on to Daybreak. That's the screen, the picture that you'll see at the bottom right of your screen. Semi-fire, big flames, initially big fears that people may be hurt in that. That's the good part of this. It appears everybody's okay, and the fire is largely out. The problems are not, though.
The problems are not over. You can see the tower camera picture. That's a live shot that's on the bottom left of your screen. That does show that some traffic is moving. Those are the lanes going westbound on 70 to north 65. Right. If you are coming into downtown, though, you are not going to get it through I-70, through the north split to get onto 65 south, because that's going to be shut down, according to NDOT, for several more hours. Okay, so we'll stay on this story as we get new developments on it. You know, oftentimes they'll issue an expectation of several hours, and they can get things done a little quicker than that. Occasionally we'll see it go the other direction, and it lasts longer than they expect. So we'll stay on it for you here on Daybreak. Also, other kind of travel news for you this morning. United Airlines is making some changes, saying it will raise the limit that it will pay flyers on overbooked flights to $10,000 now. Current limit is $1,100. This is all a response to the PR nightmare, a video that went viral of officers dragging a man off an overbooked flight. United says it promises to reduce but not eliminate overbooking. United is making other changes as well in the aftermath of all of this. And happening right now, a group of Central Indiana women has been pulling an all-nighter to help the families of children who are seriously ill.
Members of the Junior League of Indianapolis have been working since midnight, cooking meals, preparing welcome kits for families who stay at the Ronald McDonald House of Central Indiana. If you don't know the work of the Ronald McDonald House, it is a place where families can stay while their children get treatment, usually at Riley Hospital, sometimes at other hospitals. It is part of the group's project of 95 hours of continuous volunteering. The effort runs through Sunday, so whatever you do with the weekend, they'll be hard at work. 5:43 right now.
It's kind of a rainy, soggy, just start to your day, Randy, right?
You kind of have an warning out here, I think, this morning. And kind of a damp start. You can still see a few showers going on across parts of Indiana. There's a few more showers down around Evansville. Everything heading northeastbound. It's not going to rain all day long. Whatever break we do get, you better enjoy it. It's a very active pattern. I'll have the detailed forecast here in just a bit.
It is 5:46, and this morning we're kicking off an entire day of coverage, helping you spring into great health. First story is from a Tipton County teenager. Changing her diet helped control her seizures.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Joe Malillo explains it's a solution that took some time to find.
At first, it was just like I couldn't believe it was happening.
On the outside, Tipton High School freshman Madison Hoover has it all together. She's a straight-A student, a basketball player, and a loving daughter. But for a long time, something wasn't right.
Yeah, I've had him since kindergarten, so we were confused with what was happening to me. We didn't know why I was doing it, and then we did blood work and stuff, and it was obvious that we had epilepsy.
The doctor said, yes, it is absent seizures. And I'm sitting in a Charlie Brown classroom and I can't hear anything.
It's like blacking out, but from the outside perspective, it looks like daydreaming. Doctors say these type of seizures can lead to learning disabilities. A child may also have up to 100 seizures a day. That can be a real problem when playing sports.
Sometimes that was scary, is when she would have a seizure on the court and she was stuck in the middle of the court, or when she'd walk away with another team.
Just trying to get them under control was very difficult at best. We fought, medications, amounts, blood tests, EEGs, 22 blood tubes at a time.
That's when the medication started.
And then my medicine helped too. I was on 10 pills a day for about 4 years, and it made me lethargic, tired, horrible night terrors. And it was just really bad.
But it wasn't until a trip to Riley Hospital for Children did Madison and the Hoover family find the answers they were looking for, something called the ketogenic diet.
They take our bodies from running off of blood sugars and they switch that energy source into burning fat and running off of what's called ketone bodies.
Dr. Noel Carr, a dietitian at Riley Hospital for Children, says the diet is high in fat and low in carbs. It creates more stable blood sugars and insulin levels, reducing seizures and lessening the intensity. In Madison's case, it's eating a diet of meat, cheese, and nuts and focusing on natural fats that's completely eliminated her seizures.
Not only were her parents encouraging and very supportive of her, but she just owned it, and she has been able to just thrive doing it, and they've been an amazing family to watch.
For the past 2 years, the Hoovers have followed that ketogenic diet, and as they did, Madison experienced one of the side effects, losing weight. She lost 30 pounds. To help her gain back the weight, her mom made something called a fat bomb. It's basically a brownie with peanut butter and a lot of fat.
Just some of the things that we had to go through, measuring everything out, making sure that everything was under 15 carbs a day. And we could see her become brighter and clearer.
Madison is getting ready to be scanned again. If it comes back normal, she could be off her medication for good.
It was really weird. I think it was a miracle, really. One of the best things that ever happened to me. Now I can drive probably in the next year or so. Get my license next July if I pass my driving test.
Joe Malillo, 24-Hour News 8.
Our Spring into Great Health coverage continues all day today on 24-Hour News 8. Coming up at 6, soon you're going to see some big changes to menus when you go out to eat. Why the FDA is requiring more restaurants to display calorie counts.
You've been working on that.
I have been working on that. It is really interesting, and it is a big change, but people seem to be in favor of it, so we'll see.
Sometimes that information you don't want to know from your belly, but you have to know for your heart and your body.
Yeah, especially because the FDA says 1/3 of our meals are eaten out. So when you take that week by week, that's a lot of consumption.
Okay, that's coming up next hour. Yes, sir?
I've been working on that too. Got on the scale this morning, and I have been working on my calorie count. It's gone up a little bit here the last couple weeks or so. Not a pleasant sight.
I couldn't tell at all, Rand.
Yeah, thanks, Patty. Have you had your eyes examined lately here? Hey, let's get into it real quick. We had some severe weather across the area. There is a swath of some wind damage and some big hailers here kind of rolling on through. In fact, we zoom in. We had a report of a funnel cloud here at about 6:50 last evening near the Cloverdale Riverdale area. They never did see a tornado touchdown, but again, mainly some wind damage and some large hailstones here as the storms rolled through during Wednesday evening. Right now, nothing severe. Got some light rain showers. Head up north here, up around Marion, Grant County, some light rain showers going on. Also near Elwood, Madison County, some light showers. Also near Muncie, too. Get out of the way here. Always get emails from eastern Indiana that say, hey, Randy, get out of the way so we can see our city. More showers now back to the south across Johnson County, down across Brown County, into parts of Jackson County. Just some light rain racing quickly northeastbound. And this will probably get out of here around 8, 9 o'clock or so. In fact, on Futurecast, pick up at 9 o'clock. Most of those spotty showers heading to the east of us. By noontime, not much going on. And I think as we head into and through this afternoon, the cloud cover is going to hold, but it should be kind of a breezy and definitely a cooler day here, too. Outside right now at the airport, some light rain, some sprinkles, 60 degrees, a little breezy, a south wind coming in about 13 miles an hour. Lafayette 54, Muncie, Richmond 58 degrees, 64 Muncie, Richmond, 63 Shelbyville, and currently downtown we're sitting at 60 degrees. So head through the day today, maybe a sprinkle at 9 o'clock. Our temperature at 59, cloudy at noon, 58 degrees, and by 4 o'clock, cloudy skies, temperature at 60. So temperatures really not going anywhere today. And highs here, upper 50s and lower 60s. Now, if you're heading out this evening, we'll keep it dry. Not bad, 6 p.m. 59, by 8 o'clock, 58 degrees. Our midnight temperature right around 54. And during the day on Friday, I think we'll get off to a dry start. However, there's a warm front approaching the area, so as we head into the afternoon, the scattered showers, scattered thunderstorms will become likely. And I think overnight tomorrow night, rain and thunderstorms will start to expand across the area. And as a warm front does come in, going to have to watch out. There is a slight risk of severe weather in central Indiana. We do have an enhanced risk down or south, a marginal risk up north. Best timing for severe storms on Friday, probably overnight tomorrow night. And we're going to have to watch out. The biggest threat will be some very large hailstones here possible Friday night, perhaps some wind damage, and even a lower threat. But there is a threat for maybe an isolated tornado or two. Again, that timing of that mainly overnight Friday night into early Saturday morning. Could be a lot of rain, too. Highs on Friday, 72 here, 66 in Lafayette. Saturday, going to be a very wet day out there. We'll see some occasional showers around, some thunderstorms, potentially some heavy downpours of rain. So this weekend, I think both Saturday and Sunday will be on the wet side. And even on Saturday, the southern half of the state does have a marginal risk up for some severe weather. Temperature 66 on Saturday, rain, thunderstorms. Again on Sunday, cold front comes in, perhaps some strong thunderstorms Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. A bit warmer, the high is 75 degrees. Back down we go. I know you need a scorecard to check it out here, but it's a very typical spring pattern. Windy showers Monday, 57. We dry things out on Tuesday, and then rain chances moving back in by next Wednesday. Stephanie's here with traffic, and Stephanie, you're busy this morning.
Yeah, quite a mess out there, especially down towards the North Split. And we're still looking at that semi-fire from earlier, and here's video from that. I-70 heading westbound, closed at the North Split still. Closed for 4 hours, that of an hour ago. So we have 3 more hours to go of that widely used section of the interstate closed this morning. As we look out right now, it looks like traffic along I-70 heading northbound on I-65 is moving along just nicely. But folks that usually use the North Split heading into I-65 southbound will have an issue heading out the door this morning. So as we look at our traffic maps this morning, as we head down into the North Split, still seeing that road closed, and we have all 4 of those roads closed as we head into this early this morning. It just depends on when they all get that mess cleaned up. It looks like they did have the fire out, but they are starting to tow some parts of the fire, some semi that caught on fire earlier this morning away. So again, I-70 westbound, road closed, all 4 lanes near exit I-65, and that ramp is also closed. So if you usually use that area as we widen out the view, it just might be easier to take I-465 this morning for semis and also for folks who normally use that the North Split this morning. So again, I-465 semi-traffic would be probably the best route. If you don't want to use I-465 this morning, you can use Rural Keystone, and then from there you can take either 10th Street, Michigan Street, or the other option is you can use Washington Street for your morning commute this morning. We'll be right back after the break.
5:58 right now, 2 hours now into our coverage of breaking news of what started as a fierce fire just north of the North Split. This is the westbound lanes of I-70 if you are trying to get into or through the North Split. The fire that you see right now is largely or completely out. That's not the big concern at this point. The worry is, how do you get all of that off the interstate and out of the way? I need you to take a peek at your screen if you had planned on using I-70 at all. What we've been able to figure out is that if you're using 70 westbound to get to northbound 65, those are the drivers at the very top of your screen. Looks like you can do that. Any other use of I-70 westbound to get through the city completely, to get into the North Split, to get to city streets, or to get to southbound 65, you cannot do that right now. We'll stay on this story as we head toward the 6 o'clock hour. It is 5:59, 60 degrees in Indianapolis. More Daybreak as we are all local all morning.